Okay.
Welcome to the Caribbean Edge Kids. We are so excited to have you here with us. We have our beautiful panel today, Kylee, Ymanni, and T'Ka. Welcome to the Caribbean Edge Kids. Story time. My name is Aunty Dawn, and we have the lovely Aunty Sophia as well. So excited to have everyone. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to read, have fun, and these beautiful kids are here to motivate, educate, and inspire you all. So let's start out with Kylee. Tell us about you, Kylee. How old are you?
I'm 6 years old.
6 years old. Beautiful. And what would you like to be when you grow up?
I want to be a few things. I want to be a singer, a doctor, a dancer, and a boss of a business and a famous person.
Wow, you have a long resume already.
And a baker. And
a baker too. Wow. I got to stay in touch with you and see where you end up. And what do you do for fun?
I watch videos and sing. I watch YouTube and sing.
YouTube and sing. So you're going to have to send us a recording of you singing, okay? We would love to see that. And also with your jujutsu, right?
Yes.
And you like that very much?
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to the Caribbean Edge Kids. We're so happy to have you. Let's switch over to Ymanni. Tell us about you, Ymanni. How old are you?
I am 8 years old.
And what do you want to do when you grow up, and what do you do for fun?
I want to be a producer, a rapper, and a karate coach.
Wow. So in the music industry, do you sing? Do you create beats? Do you do anything musically?
I create beats and I write songs. Also, I do karate.
Nice. So you guys have to send us some individual videos of all your special talents. And T'Ka, welcome to the Caribbean Edge Kids. You're in Jamaica right now, correct?
Yes, I am.
And how old are you? Tell us about you.
I'm 11 years old. I want to become an entrepreneur and a teacher. I like to dance, and I like to create beats.
Okay, thank you. So what is it like in Jamaica right now? I know it's been raining a lot.
A lot. It's very
Did it
hard.
stop raining? Did the sun come out?
Well, today's very overcast, so we're expecting rain today. But for the past few days, it's been sunny.
Okay, good. We need that sunshine after all that rain, eh? We had some in Florida, but thankfully it cleared up as well, but nothing like what's been going on in Jamaica. So we're glad you're safe and everyone is safe as well. Okay, let's start out reading. And Aunty Sophie, you want to say hi? Hi.
Hello to all my beautiful panelists. Today we have we listen Aunty Dawn, we have some business people amongst us and performers. So we're happy to have you all. Thanks for joining us.
And Kylee will start us off with her story today. Take us away, Kylee.
The book I'm reading is called The Ugly Duckling, written by Hans Christian Andersen, illustrated by Michelle Jurasco. I just don't know how to read that. Wait, Mom, I can't fit the book. Okay, now I'm going to start reading. Mother Duck was very happy today. 6 of her eggs had hatched. She now had 6 yellow fluffy ducklings to take care of. They all watched as the last egg began to hatch little by little. The newest duckling pecked his way out. But this little duckling wasn't yellow like the other. He's an ugly duckling, whispered a brother. Hush now, he's not a bit ugly. He's just different, said his mother. She tucked the new duckling under her wing. The next day, the mother took her ducklings swimming. They all loved the water, especially the gray duckling. He glided gracefully across the pond, but when it came time to walk across the muddy bank, he wasn't as graceful. He landed on his bottom with a big muddy splash. The other ducklings laughed at him. He sadly swam away to hide in the reeds. Just then 2 magnificent birds floated past. They were white, with lovely long necks. I'll never be so beautiful, thought the duckling. He began to swim back to his mother, but a man picked him up from the reeds. You poor little thing, said the man. You are all alone. The man brought the duckling to his farm. He was kind, but the farm animals were not so kind. What sort of duck are you? asked the chicken. An ugly one, laughed the cat. Where's the pigs? The duckling spent a lonely winter at the farm. He missed his family. When spring returned, he found his way back to the pond. When his mother saw him, she smiled proudly. The duckling waited for his brothers and sisters to tease him, but they did not. Nearby, he saw the same magnificent white birds he had seen the year before. They're beautiful, aren't they, Mother? asked the duckling. Yes, they are beautiful swans, said his mother. Like you. The duckling looked at his reflection in the water. Looking back at him was a handsome swan. He glided over to the other swans, knowing that they would welcome him as a friend. The end.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kylie. You read so well and only 6 years old. Oh my gosh, Mommy and Daddy must be so proud of you because we certainly are. Okay, so we're going to switch over to Ymanni. Ymanni, ready to read for us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, take us away, Ymanni.
The Karate Kid, written by Robert Mark Kamen and illustrated by Kim Smith. The big day had finally arrived. Daniel and his mother had moved to California. They were excited to live by the ocean, but Daniel was nervous about being the new kid. On Daniel's first day of school, some mean kids started picking on him. The leader of the group was named Johnny. The mean kids studied karate at a dojo named Kylee. A dojo is a place where students learn martial arts. All the students at Kylee were training for a big karate tournament. The next day, the Kylee students chased Daniel home from school. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a man appeared and he chased the boys away with his karate moves. Kia, cha! It was Mr. Miyagi, the Japanese maintenance man who worked in Daniel's apartment building. He was better at karate than the Kylee students. Please teach me karate, Daniel said to Mr. Miyagi. I want to enter the tournament. If I can't beat Johnny, I bet he will stop picking on me. I promise to teach karate, said Mr. Miyagi, if you promise to learn. That day, Mr. Miyagi became Daniel's sensei. Sensei is the Japanese word for teacher. The next day, Daniel went to Mr. Miyagi's house. Daniel was excited to start learning karate. First, Mr. Miyagi gave Daniel a special headband. Next, Mr. Miyagi handed Daniel a bucket and a sponge. He told him to wash all the cars in the driveway and then wax them too. Wax on right hand, wax off left hand, wax on, wax off. Daniel worked very hard all day. He worked until the sun went down. Finally, all the cars were washed and were clean and shiny. But he worked so hard and so long that there was no time left for karate training. The next morning, Mr. Miyagi handed Daniel 2 sanders. Right circle, left circle. Breathe in, breathe out. Daniel worked very hard all day. He worked until the sun went down. Finally, the deck was smooth, but he worked so hard and so long that there was no time left for karate training. Daniel woke up excited. Maybe today Mr. Miyagi would finally teach him karate. Instead, Mr. Miyagi gave Daniel a can of paint and a paintbrush. Long strokes, up and down. Don't forget to bend your knees. Daniel worked very hard all day. He worked until the sun went down. Finally, the house was painted, but Daniel was frustrated. He wanted to learn karate, not do chores all day. When Mr. Miyagi came home, Daniel said, I'm tired of doing chores. Why won't you teach me karate? I haven't learned anything. You've learned plenty. Show me how you wax the cars. Daniel showed him how, and he blocked Mr. Miyagi's punch. Show me how you sanded the deck. Daniel showed him how, and he blocked Mr. Miyagi's kick. Show me how you painted the house. Daniel showed him how, and he blocked Mr. Miyagi's strike. Daniel couldn't believe it. The whole time he thought he was doing chores, he had actually been learning karate moves and getting stronger every day. The tournament was coming up, and Daniel was practicing very hard. Mr. Miyagi taught him to balance by staying upright in the ocean waves. Balance is key. Balance good. Karate good. Everything good.
The end. Thank you. That's an amazing book that you picked. And I know you're into karate as well. So why did you pick that book?
Because it's about balance, and I did get bullied at school, and that's why I did that's why I did karate, and I actually like the movie Karate Kid, so that's why I choose the book.
Awesome. I'm so sorry you got bullied at school. Hopefully, those kids have been spoken to because bullying, of course, is wrong. But it looks like you've used that and you've become an even more powerful young man. So that's an awesome book. And I remember watching that movie too, and he got so frustrated going through daily chores and thought he wasn't getting the lessons he needed when in reality he was being prepared for those lessons. And that comes through life. As you guys get older, you'll understand that a lot more. So that was a great selection, and you're an awesome reader to other young kids out there, so thank you. And we're going to go to T'Ka, who is reading from us live from Jamaica. We're so happy you're here, T'Ka. Tell us what you're going to read.
I'm going to be reading A Cow Called Boy by C. Everett Palmer.
Okay.
The first day of school was a beautiful one. The sun was already up in Kendall and yellowing the land. The schoolyard itself looked fresh from a summer rest. The lawns were green and the trees had grown new buds. The cuscus grass, which had been planted in rows to prevent erosion, had been untroubled for 2 months by children playing hide and seek and living healthy again. After such a long break from school, the children were so happy to be going that they arrived early. Only Josh Mahon was late. Twice he had returned home, leading his pet calf, who was determined to follow him to school. But apparently, the calf just did not want to stay home. For as Josh was nearing school for the third time, he heard a soft woo behind him. He turned around to see Boy coming up the road. "Boy," he said resigningly, "not again! I told you animals are not allowed in school." Josh wondered what to do now. "If I take you home another time, I'll be double late for school." He put his arm around Boy. "You're a bad boy, very bad, but I love you. You shouldn't have come, but I understand. In a way, we have been together all summer, and it's going to be my first time away from you. You can't take it now, can you?" To better think of a way to solve the problem, Josh sat down on a stump by the roadside. He couldn't go back home now, or he would be in double trouble with his mother. He couldn't go to the school either, not with Boy tagging along. Maybe he would have to pay Trant. But on the first day of school, that's no way to start the term. To himself, he said, "I don't want to miss the first day of school. Everyone will be there." So Josh was truly in a fix. What was he to do? Meanwhile, Boy was quietly chewing on a mouthful of grass. Just then, a tall man smoking a pipe came ambling up the road, walking with difficulty as though he had sustained a fall and hurt himself. He was dressed in khaki trousers and a blue shirt and was wearing braces and a cap. "Howdy, Josh." "Good morning, Mr. Kelly. What are you doing here when all the kiddies are in school?" Mr. Kelly said, removing his pipe. "That's my problem, sir. I should be in school, I mean. But I'm here because of this stupid boy." "What boy?" Mr. Kelly asked, turning around. "I don't see no boy." Josh began to laugh. He pointed to the calf. "He's the boy. That's the name I gave him." "I'd say that's quite a name," Mr. Kelly said, walking around the calf. "And my Josh, how he's grown. Oh my, oh my." Turning back to Josh, he said, "I see you took good care of him, all right. I don't regret at all that I gave him to you." It is true, the mother had died when Boy was born, and not wanting to bother with the calf, Mr. Kelly had decided to give it to Mrs. Mahon, Josh's mother. Mr. Mahon had died, and Josh and his mother lived alone on a small farm. Bertha, this path is just right for your boy Josh, Mr. Kylee said. What are you trying to do, Tom? Saddle my boy with a half-dead calf and say you're not doing the work around here? Oh no, nothing of the sort. But think what's a good thing for him. That kid's lonely as a single pea in a bowl of soup. He has no brothers or sisters to play with. It'll be something for him to get his hand into. Think about it, Bertha, Mr. Kylee added. And it's free, the calf I mean. Josh had been listening. Please, Mom, he said. May I? May you what? Have the calf, ma'am. See what you have done, Tom. No, if I don't get this calf, this son of mine will give me no peace. So Josh had been given the calf, which he had to bottle feed and take care of. Until now, boy was standing about 3 feet and as spunky as they come. Now, what's the problem, you say? Mr. Kylee asked Josh. He wants to go to school with me, sir. That made Mr. Kylee laugh. He does know, does he? Yes, sir, and I've taken him back twice already. Now I'm late. Why didn't you tie him and leave him at home? Josh sprang to his feet. Tie him? Not me. Mr. Kylee, I won't put a rope around him, sir. You mean he's never been tied? No, sir. He goes around like a dog or a cat? Josh laughed with a burst of white teeth. He goes around like this, Mr. Kylee, but not like a dog or a cat either. He's better than either a cat or a dog. Boy's well trained. He's more sensible than some children I know. You don't say, Mr. Kylee said. He puffed hard on his pipe, then went on. Well, I suppose you've got to stay away from school today, Josh. Either that or tie boy at home. Miss school, Josh thought. And today everybody gets his turn in front of the class to tell what he did during the holiday. Oh no, 100 times no. Suddenly he had an idea. I won't tie him up, Mr. Kylee, and I won't miss school either. I know what I can do. What? I'm taking him. Where, son? To school, sir. Mr. Kylee laughed and scratched his head. The schools are getting modern, but I don't think they have moved on so far as to enroll cows. Josh started walking. See you, Mr. Kylee, he said. Come on, boy. Let me know how he makes it out in spelling and arithmetic, Mr. Kylee said, chuckling. Josh knew Mr. Kylee was making fun of him, so he did not reply. He went on towards the school building, walking fast, with one arm resting on boy's neck. The calf walked on, stepping as proudly as he were in a parade. He was a beautiful animal, chubby and mostly grayish in color, but spotted with white in a number of places. His face was charming, blend of gray and white.
The end. Wow, what an expressive young lady. You read so well, T'Ka. Tell us about that book and why you picked it.
I picked it because some people think that animals are bad, and animals are not always bad. They can be good in a way. It just depends on the way you train them. And if you read all the story, the shopkeeper is very selfish, and I think you're not supposed to be selfish at all, because we're all humans, and everyone has feelings. So that's why I chose that book.
Well said. Thank you. And you're getting ready for high school. So tell all the viewers which high school you're getting ready for.
I would love to go to the St. Andrews High School for Girls. Ever since I was in grade 2, I love that school. It's just I don't know why I like it. It just gives me that good feeling. Like I really want to go to that school. So yeah.
Well, that's Aunty Sophie's high school. I went to St. Hugh's High School. So a lot of great high schools in Jamaica, and we thank all the teachers, no matter where you are around the world, because, you know, it's what we're seeing from you young children and the support of your parents as well, that you can come on the Caribbean Edge Kids and read so well, all three of you, for all our viewers. So a lot of people have tuned in and they're saying you're making them proud. Auntie Sarah Davis said, look at my nephew. So she's really proud of you. T'Ka speaks so well. Michelle from Atlanta is saying that. And they're saying you're such a cutie, Ymanni, and Kylee is so beautiful. The children are amazing. My grandson made me proud. That's from Dr. Venice Daly. And so we thank all the viewers that have tuned in. And Vicky Daly says, T'Ka, Kylee, and Ymanni, great reading. So we love to hear our viewers making these comments and for tuning in to support you. And you're doing an amazing job. So we're going to have some patois and we're going to switch to Aunty Sophie.
Auntie Dawn, before we get into that, can I ask the princess, Miss Kylee, why she chose her book? I love the Ugly Duckling story. Please, Miss Kylee, can you tell us why you chose that book? Turn on your phone. You're muted. Tell Mommy Melissa to turn on your phone. It's muted.
You're muted, baby.
So I can hear you.
There we go.
I chose this book because it doesn't matter how you look on the outside. It matters how you look in the inside.
Beautiful.
This is amazing, Auntie Dawn. These kids are so deep. Yes, great selection on all the books. I appreciate you. Great stories. And can I say, Miss T'Ka, that story about the cow, you know, that brought back memories to me, Auntie Dawn, about Mary had a little lamb and I went to school. So you see, the Jamaicans also have similar stories to those in the northern world. So we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. So Auntie Dawn, go ahead with your patois lesson. I just wanted to make sure I heard from Miss Kylee about that beautiful story, the ugly duckling who grew up to be such a beautiful swan. So thank you.
So we want to interact with the kids a little bit, and we asked Miss T'Ka before the show if she'd be kind enough to translate whatever Kylee and Ymanni say to her in English, so we can have some patois amongst our kids. And then stay tuned because Aunty Sophie will be reading us one of her fabulous stories as well. So Kylee, Ymanni, what questions or what sentences do you want for us to translate for you?
How do you say I love you in it? I love you.
One love, I love you.
Oh, you got that? So me love you, one love. Me love you. Me love you.
Me love
How
you.
you say do karate?
The karate.
And sometimes we add extra words to the sentences. So like, I love you, we can say, and I love you, now, my girl. Same thing, meaning I love you, my girl, or I love you, my boy. I, meaning I and I love you, my boy. Go ahead, Kylee.
Me love you.
Me love you. Awesome. What other questions do you have or sentences for T'Ka?
Dance party.
Oh my God, the dance party.
Dance party.
Say doing boxing.
We are the boxing.
It's very easy. You guys are giving us some easy stuff here. All right, so here's one. The bus left me.
The bus go well left me.
Right, so I missed the school bus. That's how we would say it. So say it again, T'Ka.
The bus go well left me.
Left me. Yep.
I just say I'm late for class.
Me late for go to school.
So you have to try to say that, Ymanni, because Ymanni's grandma is from Jamaica. So see if you could say that for us, Ymanni.
Me late for go to school.
How do you?
Scott Owen.
Me late. Let's start slow. Me late.
What?
Me late for go to school.
Let's go.
Me late for go to school. Me late for go to school. Thank you.
Let's go to school.
There you go. Good job. Me late for go to school. So when you're running late, and mommy said, hurry up. You know, you can say, me late for go to school. Or may I get ready? May I rush? Kylie had her hand up. What question you have, Kylie?
I have a sentence for her. How do you say it in like say la 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 la?
La 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 la.
That's how you say.
How do you say I'm writing songs and rapping?
Me I write song, me I dance song.
You got that? Ymanni, me I write songs. I write songs.
Rap songs?
Yeah, me I write songs and dance hall.
Don't talk.
And dance hall. So me I write songs and dance hall. There you go. So thank you, T'Ka. Thank you, Kylie and Ymanni, for asking your questions. If you have questions at the end, we'll come back to this segment, but let's switch over to Aunty Sophie, see what story she has for us today.
Well, Auntie Dawn, these are tough acts to follow. I'm going to try to share a story with you kids today that my mother shared with me when I was maybe 6 or 8 years old. I know it was before I turned 11. Okay, T'Ka? So we always say, here we are in the United States of America. And for those watching us from other parts of the world, everywhere has their fairy tales and everywhere has their various stories with morals and different lessons, right? So we in Jamaica too have our fairy tales. And normally I read Anansi stories for our children. And of course, Anansi stories, T'Ka will know, is a part of our heritage in Jamaica, right? But today, I am going to share a story with you from memory. So help me, bear with me now. From, as I told you, when I was about 6 or 8 years old, my mother shared this story with me. So here goes. Now, before I do that, remember, a lot of the stories here will talk about Rapunzel being hidden in a tower, and she had her long, beautiful hair. That was the only way people could access her in the tower, right? And of course, remember the story. Everybody knows about Red Riding Hood and how that wolf tried to get her. You remember, right? Thumbs up on that? Yes. So all these stories came to mind when my mother shared the story with me about a lady that lived with a beautiful daughter. So here we go. Or rather, she had a beautiful daughter. Here we go. Many years ago, there was a woman who lived in this village. She had a beautiful daughter, and she looked at her daughter and thought, oh, this is my princess. She is so beautiful and flawless. I am going to hide her away from the world. I don't want anybody to bully her. I don't want anybody to give her a hard time. I don't want her to be unhappy. So I am going to hide her and protect her. Now, we know our mothers always protect us, right? But this mother was what we call overprotective. So guess what she did? She found a little cottage in the middle of the forest, away from everybody, and hid her beautiful daughter in this cottage. She would visit her daughter every day. She would nurse her. She would care for her, and she would grow her into such a beautiful princess until she was a grown woman. But still, she never made anybody see her beautiful daughter. She would go over the mountains, down the valley, around the winding pathway, into the clearing of this forest to visit her beautiful daughter in the cottage. Now, she had warned her daughter never to let any strangers come in, even if somebody happened upon the cottage. So she built all these latches on the door, several locks. And guess how she would enter the cottage? She would sing. She had a beautiful, melodious voice, very distinct voice. And the daughter knew her mother's voice. So when the mother would go over the mountain, down the valleys, around the winding pathway, into the middle of the forest in the clearing, to the little cottage, she would knock on the door. And then she would sing, my daughter, open the door and let me come in. And the daughter would hear the mother's voice and she would open the door and the mother would go in and she would take care of her daughter. She would sing for her. She would cook for her and she would have a great visit. And then she would leave. No, she did this every single day for so many years. But one day there was a tiger in that village. And of course, sometimes in our stories, the animals are like men. You know what I mean? They take the form of a human. But Mr. Tiger was very curious. He heard that this mother had a daughter, but he never saw the daughter. And he heard the daughter was beautiful. And he thought, I need to get to this daughter. So guess what he did? He hid in the forest and watched as the mother went over the hill, down the valley, through the winding pathway. And guess what he did? He followed her and he hid behind a tree and he watched and he saw when the mother got to the cottage and he heard the mother sing, my daughter, open the door and let me come in. And he saw when the daughter opened the door and the mother went inside and the mother spent the afternoon with the daughter. He thought to himself, that seems easy enough. Now I know how I can get to the daughter. So Mr. Tiger one day, he went over the hill, down the valley, around the winding pathway, into the forest, and he knocked on the door. Now he went ahead of the mother, but the daughter wondered, I heard the knocking, but this is not the time that my mother normally comes. I wonder if my mother has forgotten. And she listened, and she said, who is it? And the tiger said, it's me. She said, oh, that's not how my mother gets in. My mother sings. And he says, my daughter, open the door and let me come in. She said, you are not my mother. My mother has a beautiful singing voice. Oh, I will not let you in. And the tiger thought to himself, oh, goodness, how am I going to get in? And he said, oh, how beautiful you are. I would love to set my eyes on you. How can I come in? How can I get the beautiful voice that your mother has? And the daughter thought to herself, she's going to trick the tiger. But remember, she was an innocent young woman. She has never met anybody before. She doesn't know how to interact. So she thought to herself, let me tell him something and he will go away. She said, Mr. Tiger, you have to go in the village to the blacksmith and get him to put a very hot iron down your throat. And you must bury your head in the sand for 9 days. And surely you can get my mother's voice. Mr. Tiger wasn't very smart. And he thought to himself, I'll give it a try. So he went off into the village and he got the blacksmith to put the hot iron down his throat. Now the blacksmith thought this was a strange request, but it's Mr. Tiger. You never say no to Mr. Tiger. So the blacksmith nervously put the hot iron down his throat. And of course it burnt the tiger, but he said, this is for a good cause. So he toughened up himself and he went off and buried himself in the sand for 9 days. And then he came back and he stood up and he felt stronger and he went again into the forest to the girl's house and he knocked on the door and she said, who is there? And the tiger opened his mouth and he sang, my daughter, open the door and let me come in. And the daughter didn't know it wasn't her mother. And she unlatched all the locks and opened the door. And Mr. Tiger jumped in like the wolf in Red Riding Hood. And he chased her around and he got to her and he really hit her hard and he ate her. And then came the mother and she went all the way to the forest. When she got there, she saw the door was open and she thought, oh my goodness, something happened to my princess. And she went in and she looked everywhere. She saw the tables were turned over. She saw everything a mess. The horrors of horrors. She went around the back and lo and behold, there was the tiger. He was so tired from all that rumbling with the daughter. And he was so full from having gobbled her up. He was sleeping. And the mother thought to herself, she was full with rage and anger. But she said, how am I going to get this tiger? How am I going to revenge this tiger? She doesn't know karate and she doesn't know anything else. But she said, I'm going to try. But she used her beautiful voice and she said, Mr. Tiger, do you want me to sing for you? And Mr. Tiger was so tired. You know, sometimes after you eat, you're tired. You want to take a nap. And he said, oh, yes, sing a song for me. And the mother stroked the tiger's head. She stroked his back and she started to sing beautiful songs to him, lullaby to Mr. Tiger. And he kept sleeping, but he was sleeping in what we call the broomweed, which is like weeds in your garden, right? But there were strong weeds out in the back. And the mother wisely thought, as she sang to the tiger, she plaited his hair and she planted it in the broomweed. And she sang and she plaited the hair on his back and she planted it in the broomweed. And she sang and she planted and she sang and she planted until all of Mr. Tiger's hair was planted and really knotted in the broomweed. And the mother went inside the house and she went behind the kitchen door and she found what we call a big mata stick, which is a big, powerful stick like the ones they use in the karate. And she started to pound Mr. Tiger. And she pounded him. And she pounded him. And as she pounded him, he wailed. But guess what? The broomweed had him knotted so much in the field. And she wailed him and he go, wah! But he couldn't move. And the mother pounded him. And she pounded him in revenge till Mr. Tiger could move no more. And she was exhausted, but she felt revenged. And she put the stick over her back and she started going back to the village through the winding pathway, down the valley, over the mountain. And she started to sing, woman kill tiger, man kaka brim. Woman kill tiger, man kaka brim. And a little birdie heard and all the villagers came listening and they thought, this tiny little woman, how strange she got that tiger, because he was a bully and he used to hurt everybody in the village. And they were amazed. But a little bird perched on the top of the tree, he heard and he said, ha, 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 ha. How silly woman. You shouldn't say woman kill tiger, man kakabrim. Women can't kill tiger. Women are feeble and frail. You should sing, man kill tiger, woman kakabrim. Man kill tiger, woman kakabrim. And the woman was so exhausted. She knew she had killed the tiger. She didn't argue. She just obeyed and she sang, man kill tiger, woman kakabrim. And she sang all the way through the forest. And everyone heard and thought to themselves, okay, so it's a man who killed the tiger. And from that day till today, it is believed that men are stronger than women and only a man could kill a tiger. And that's how that went. The end. So that was a fairy tale my mother taught me. And she said, listen, don't believe anything anybody tells you. You know how strong you are. You know how powerful you are. Believe in yourself and don't make anybody change what you know to be true. Okay? That's the moral of our little fairy tale from Jamaica.
Thank you, Auntie Sophie. That was an amazing story. And of course, Auntie Sophie is quite expressive. I get behind the scenes, I'm just dying of that hair because I just love these stories and the way Auntie Sophie delivers them. Children, what do you think about this story?
I thought it was amazing. I was fascinated with it. It was very
funny.
telling.
Ymanni says, very funny. How about you, Kylee?
What?
How do you feel about Auntie Sophie's story?
I loved it, but like the bird. That was a meanie bird. He was a meanie bird. Meanie bird.
Yeah, some parts of the story are really sad, but I love how Auntie Sophie incorporated the karate in there for us as well. So
and the bully, right? And that
I
little
know.
bird is a little mini bird. He spread rumors, and sometimes they say, a little birdie tell me. Have you ever heard the story? Like they said, oh, a little bird told me, because it is believed that birds are always telling little stories, right? So that's the entire story put together about the
He
morale.
wasn't there, so he doesn't know that she killed the tiger.
There you go. See? And he started to spread the rumor, right? But you must always maintain what you know in your heart to be true, and don't let anybody change your thoughts, okay? You know how strong you are, you know how beautiful you are, and you must never be bullied or be persuaded by anybody telling you false tales, right? That's it.
Awesome. Awesome stories all around. And thanking all our viewers. Dr. Venice DeLay says, Ymanni's grandmother is Jamaican, but she needs lessons. She left Jamaica a long time ago. So she just bust on Granny. That means she just told about on Granny. So grandma's going to have to tune into the Caribbean Edge and take some lessons from you kids as well. So we want to thank the viewers for tuning in, but I want you guys to say something in Patois with the Jamaican dialect that, tells the audience goodbye. So let's say, have a great week. T'Ka, how would you tell them to have a great week?
I would say have a great time Sunday to Saturday. Open the John again. So.
Thank you. And Ymanni, let's give you something to say. Thanks for tuning into the Caribbean Edge. So you can say, may I thank you for tuning into the Caribbean Edge, kids. Can you say all that?
I need to do slowly.
May I thank you?
May I thank you
for tuning in to the Caribbean Edge, kids.
To the Caribbean Edge, kids.
Enjoy your week, man.
Enjoy your week, man.
Yeah, we say quite expressive. So we say, enjoy your week, man. So, Kylee, your turn. Let's see what we can say. Wanna have a great week.
All have a good week.
Uno. Have a great week.
Uno, have a great week.
Thank you. So from the Caribbean Edge kids, from Aunty Sophie and Auntie Dawn, we want you all to have an amazing week. We thank you for tuning in and for sharing this episode. So thanks for tuning in to the Caribbean Edge kids. Everything Irie.
Everything Irie, the Caribbean Edge. Turn up, walk good.
One love.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.